Hi, Mike. Thanks for joining me in Canada Coach Academy for this interview for our Coach Crossings project. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, before we begin, tell us a little bit about who you are.
So yeah, my name is Mike, and I used to be heavily involved with a charity that I started. I'm a professional break dancer, but I also use dance to, I guess, express some of the stress I had as a young person growing up, and decided to create an organization out of I guess, using my dance as an outlet through my story. And that organization grew over 15 years into a pretty sizable charitable organization across Canada. We employed about 80 people through Unity Charity. Had the board of directors, fundraised, ran programs for about 250,000 Canadians, and
Wow.
young people, youth, and the program was about improving youth mental health through hip hop. So that was my previous chapter. Then last year, in March of 2018, I left my job after 15 years. And my goal was to leave on a high note, but also leave the organization on a high note,
Yeah.
which I saw a lot of my mentors not do so well. And I wanted to do better. And I decided to, yeah, just for other reasons as well. I wasn't really contributing as much as I used to in the ways that I used to, that I felt, you know, someone else couldn't step in and do. I wanted to really get out of the way for the new leader. So I took 6 months to do that succession and took that step back, and then said, I want to learn a bunch of new stuff. And, that sort of led me to starting my own social business, to supporting social impact leaders to grow and thrive, which is what led me to coaching as well.
Well, awesome. So tell me a little bit about that moment and how coaching came to be something you were interested in.
Yeah, well, I've always wanted to be better at talking less, which was something that, as the leader, founder of an organization, I ended up doing a lot of that sort of heroic leadership. And as the time I moved through Unity and decided to leave, I had to fully empower my team to not only make decisions, but hire the future team after I had left. So that empowerment model is really what led me to coaching. And I realized when I learned more about coaching that it was all about that empowerment piece and letting people, you know, make their own realizations and make their own decisions and be accountable to, the awareness that they discover through coaching. I knew that this was something I wanted to learn, and I knew it was something originally I needed to improve on. So the process of learning this has really changed my life.
That's awesome. So why did you choose Canada Coach Academy for your certification?
Why did I choose Canada Coach Academy? I used Google, and the dates aligned with the time in which I could take it. Uh, no particular reason, but I'm happy I chose it because Natalie is amazing. But no, I literally Googled it. They had the least sketchy looking website out of all the other people who claimed to do coach training. So legit said the marketing worked, but also the dates worked as well for me. So no particular reason, but I'm happy I found them because, I really enjoyed the experience.
That's great. Well, let's talk a little bit about coaching. What do you find is different about a coaching conversation?
Well, yeah, I find the main thing is I talk much less, and I support people as a partner in figuring out what they really want to figure out, and sometimes digging into new levels of awareness for people, challenging them with questions, holding them accountable to those questions. Ultimately, it's really about being there with people and being there for people, but also asking the right questions to move them forward, versus keep them in the same line of thinking. So really, if I'm doing a good job, or if any coach is, I find they're able to move forward that person's thinking into a place they've never gone before, which is really what leads to action, hopefully. And that's where the accountability piece is so key with coaching is, I can come up with the best solution, but what will really move me to doing that, and I'm never going to move anyone to do that. People have to move themselves. So a good coach really helps people get there themselves. And that's, what I'm really learning to do through this incredible process. And all of that is through asking questions, not giving opinions, not trying to relate, not putting myself into, the situation, really figuring out what that person needs and supporting them to dig into their ways of thinking and the meaning that they're making out of what's going on in certain situations. They always say coach the person, not the issue. And I always find that to be really powerful because, we can all experience the same argument or the same challenge at work, but the meaning that we make of it is quite different from every single person's standpoint. So helping people move forward with their thinking is actually a bigger thing than I originally thought. And it's actually one of the things we don't often address is, what's the impact of the way that I'm thinking about myself or someone else or this situation. And oftentimes when I pick that apart with folks, they start to realize their role in the situation and what they can really do about it, what they want to do about it. So it's quite a powerful process. And it's really transformed not only the people that I work with, but the relationships that I have.
Tell me a little bit more about that, Mike. How has being a coach changed your life?
Yeah, I think ultimately just moving away from assumptions and towards like curiosity. I think that's been the biggest thing. Like curiosity has been a really challenging thing to lean into, to really actually care deeply about people and what motivates them to make certain decisions. Even if I don't agree with those decisions, it's not about me, it's about them. And that's the powerful thing about coaching is, I remove myself and I really put the person I'm working with first. And that can be very powerful because, we're often so focused on ourselves and we don't even realize it, or at least I didn't realize it. And this has transformed the way that I have conversations with people because I can be there with them, but I don't have to be the one talking.
Right. It's a powerful thing to learn. I appreciate you sharing that. So tell us a little bit about your mission as a coach.
Yeah, like if I were to say my mission, and I've created this company, Epic Leadership, which supports social impact leaders to grow and thrive. But within that, the mission as a coach is to help people make responsible impact, and responsible being an impact that is responsible to you and what that looks like through your work. And it's different for everyone. I want to encourage people to reflect on the impact that they're having through their work, because sometimes it's not positive and sometimes it's positive, but it could be better. And it's always about moving it forward, moving it to a better place, and learning from just doing. It's not saying don't try something, it's actually go out there and try it. How are you improving and moving towards a more responsible way of being, whether that's with youth work, the environment, social services, or if you're in a business that has a social purpose. Like these are the types of clients, charities, nonprofits, and social businesses that I choose to spend time with.
Yeah, so that's really extending your own powerful impact, helping them with coaching. I appreciate you sharing that. So all of these adventures, how does that impact your footprint on the world?
Well, I guess for me, it's if I can literally support someone through a really challenging transition, where they're leaving their organization or coming into a new role for the first time, which I've done quite a lot of in the last year. It's just so rewarding. I've worked with people in the UK, in the Netherlands, all across Canada, on video as well as in person. And just, it's very rare that people will be there for you during these transitions, because it's really lonely at the top if you're running one of these small social impact organizations. And for me, it was just, how can I be there for someone, because I didn't have that person when I was running Unity. I could talk to my board chair because he was a nice guy, but I couldn't tell him really what was going on. I could talk to my staff, but I couldn't really tell them what was going on. I could talk to our funders, but obviously I couldn't really tell them what was going on with myself. So this, I look at as an opportunity to support people where I was, but people will be where they are, and they'll be in a very different place. So wherever social impact leaders are at, I want to be there for them, because this work is tough, and it's, it's sometimes it's forgiveless or forgiveness, whatever people say, but
Oh, yeah.
there's not a lot of, you get a couple thanks, but at the end of the day, if you grow an organization over many years, you're not selling a business. You're getting a high five and a bunch of smiling people, and you've made that impact. But it's much harder to make these transitions, and I really want to support people through those challenging moments.
Oh man, that's awesome. I totally champion that. Such an exciting way to use your coaching skills and be within reach. So here's a fun question for you. If you could write a message on a billboard for the whole world to see, what does that billboard say?
I would say, what is your responsible impact through the work that you're doing? Whether you're going through a transition, whether you're building an organization, whether you're a business that has a social impact or is giving money to a community or philanthropist, like, what is your responsible impact, and how are you constantly doing better towards that? Because, my responsible impact when I started Unity was not my responsible impact when I was leaving Unity. So I realized I had to go in as a heroic leader, but I left as, a team motivator, team culture builder, empowerment guy. And those are just complete opposites. So I think it's an iterative process, but what is your responsible impact? That's the question that I'd put on the billboard.
I love that. We need to get some billboards and get that out there. Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate you being here and sharing so much with us.
Thank you. I'm going to spin my chair.
Oh my gosh. Lots of fun. All right. Well, I look forward to hearing more about what you're doing out there. And it may just be that we see some of that in those social leaders as you work behind the scenes and strengthening people. I think that's a great thing you're doing. I appreciate your time today and all you've shared.
Thanks. And if anyone's interested, you can check my website out at www.piecez.ca and sign up if you are a social impact leader.
Yeah, we'll put that connection in the link below as well.
Thanks. Awesome.
See you later.
Take care. Thank you.